Hello, my name is Shawn and I'm a graduate student at Liberty University. This video presentation is about public history and the Boston Freedom Trail. Freedom Trail in Boston connects 16 American colonial and Revolutionary War sites over a 2.5 mile path. The Boston Freedom Trail presents some interesting dynamics in regards to public history. While the Freedom Trail does include such notable locations as the Paul Revere House, the Old North Church, the Bunker Hill site, and the Boston Massacre site, what I find ironic is the omission of a site, that site being uh, the location of the Boston Tea Party. Alfred Young noted in his paper titled Revolution in Boston, the site of the Tea Party is not on the Freedom Trail, presumably because it is managed by a profit-making entity that charges tourists to visit a reenactment of the event and throw a cask of tea overboard. I find it disturbing that an event as momentous as the Boston Tea Party is not remembered on the Freedom Trail, but instead is reduced to a commercial tourist attraction. Some background information on the Tea Party and events preceding it are necessary. The Act of Parliament of May 10th of 1773 basically gave the financially faltering East India Company a monopoly to sell tea in the American colonies. The tea, um, including a small tax, would be sold at a cheaper price than smuggled tea already available to the colonists. The successful selling of the tea would not only profit the East India Company, but highlight America's acceptance of British taxation. The Boston Tea Party occurred on December 16, 1773, at Griffin Wharf on the Boston Harbor. The Sons of Liberty, after being roused by speeches by Samuel Adams and John Hancock at the Old South Meeting House, which is located on the Boston Freedom Trail, proceeded to the harbor where British vessels holding the tea were moored. George Hughes, wanted the participants in the Boston Tea Party, and who was also represented with a mannequin at the Old South Meeting House, described how he and other Sons of Liberty members dressed in the costumes of an Indian, armed themselves with a tomahawk and a club, and painted their faces and hands with coal dust from a blacksmith shop. The Sons of Liberty then proceeded to the Boston Harbor, boarded 3 ships, and emptied 342 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor. At first glance, this seems to be a fairly insignificant event, but this act contained the spark from which the American Revolution would ignite. According to Douglas Brinkley in his article, The Spark of Revolution, the Tea Party lit the smoldering coals of discontent and ignited events that would lead to rebellion, war, and finally independence. In my opinion, the site of the Boston Tea Party has been not given its proper due. I would like to see a more significant tribute to the Tea Party at the actual site where it occurred. Something like a monument or an exhibition which would explain the historical significance of the event. Perhaps something showing reproductions of documents, paintings, and or artifacts related to the Boston Tea Party and its aftershocks. In conclusion, I would like to discuss the importance of physical historical sites to public history. I believe that these type of sites add to the overall appreciation of a historical event. For example, a few years back, I had an opportunity to visit the Dachau concentration camp near Munich, Germany. I had read many books and articles about the Holocaust prior to visiting this site, but there's something about physically being on the site, seeing pictures of what Dachau looked like during its operation, seeing the pictures of the multitude of victims killed there, and seeing mock-ups of the barracks where the victims were housed, and more gruesomely seeing the showers and ovens used by the Nazis to commit atrocities against the Jews, Gypsies, and other groups. This was a somber moment and brought to me personally a better understanding of the Holocaust. I believe that public historical sites are crucial to better understanding historical events, and whether these events are as horrible as the Holocaust on one hand or are celebratory like the Boston Tea Party, which was influential in the creation of the United States. Uh, Please see my written post for a reference to the sources I used in this presentation, and thank you.